We are up to chapter 31 in the book of Mishlei, the book of Proverbs, where King Solomon shares his wisdom. This is the final chapter of the book of Mishlei, believe it or not, and it is an absolutely very, very famous chapter. So let's dive right into it. As you may know, King Solomon had 1,000 wives, which is a lot, and he got rebuked. This chapter is actually King Solomon being chastised and rebuked by his mother. So it's very appropriate for Mother's Day to have King Solomon here being rebuked and reprimanded by his mother. So his mother is reprimanding him specifically for the fact that he married 1,000 wives, and not only did he marry 1,000 wives, but he married the daughter of Pharaoh, which coming close to Passover is also not a great thing. So here's King Solomon's mom speaking to him. Chapter 31, Mishlei, Proverbs, chapter 31, Divrei Lemuel Melech Masa. The words of Lemuel, and the reason he's referred to as Lemuel, we saw various names given to Solomon, is because it is El means God, and it's the person who God has spoken to. Divrei Lemuel Melech Masa, the king of the prophecy. And here are the words. It's really actually very worth looking inside Proverbs chapter 31 because it's really his mom speaking to him in very clear terms. Asher Yistartu, his imo, that his mother has spoken to him in a very strict and harsh way. Ma bri uma bar bitni. Or is this the child of my womb? Is this the child that came out from me? Uma bar nedarai, is this the child that has come from the promises that I have made to God, that if he gives me a child, I will raise that child in the proper way? And look, here you are, King Solomon, what are you doing? Instead of following the path in which I want you to go, you are going on and you're marrying 1,000 wives and you're not making me proud, his mother tells him. Remember, who is King Solomon's mom? King Solomon's mom is Bathsheba, famous story of King David and Bathsheba, that their child is King Solomon. So she says to him, Al titen lanashim cheilecha, do not give away your strength and life to your wives. You're the king of Israel. You're not supposed to be busy with 1,000 wives. And if you take this path, it is going to wipe away your legacy. She says, listen to me. If you are the king, if you are the ruler, you ought not to drink wine. It is not something you should be doing. And those who are ruling over others should not have any alcohol. Why? If you drink and you're the king, you may forget what the proper law is. You may forget what you're supposed to be telling people, right? So that's not something you should be doing. You will change the law of those who are poor. So those who are poor want to trust you, they want to rely on you, and you instead will be drinking wine. So if you are in a position of authority, of judgeship, knowledge, do not drink any alcohol. So you may change the law of the poor. And in fact, there's something in Jewish law, if someone is giving a law, for even a rabbi, if someone calls the rabbi and says, Rabbi, is this food kosher for Passover? If that rabbi is under any influence of any wine, never mind anything more serious than that, they may not give a verdict on that. Because when you give a verdict, you have to be completely unintoxicated. And so his mom tells him, listen, if you're the king, you should not be drinking wine. You should not be hanging out with 1,000 wives. And you know what she tells him? You know who should have we have a guest here today. You know who should have the alcohol? Give alcohol to the person who is about to be lost, and wine to those who have a bitter life. Meaning, alcohol is not something for someone who's happy and has their life together. Rather, it's often used by people who want to forget. And if you're a legislator, if you're a king, you should not be trying to forget things. You should be trying to get things under control. Alcohol is for someone who wants to forget his poverty. He doesn't want to remember all of his work. But unless you are escaping something, unless you are having a bitter life, do not drink alcohol. And then she goes on to tell him the next, she goes on to tell him the next item that should be on his mind, and that is Ptach picha le'ilem. Open your mouth up to someone who is not able to sound their own voice. Open up your mouth to someone. If you know someone, it's like sort of people who are lawyers pro bono to those who have no legal representation. That is a mitzvah. That's a good deed. If you know someone that's not able to speak for themselves, speak up for them. Obviously, you don't need to be a lawyer for that. If you know someone, let's say it's someone old who can't use the internet to sign up for their COVID vaccine. Let's say it's just a person who's not able to speak up for themselves. There is a commandment to speak up for them. Speak up for the person who is unable to speak for themselves. Ptach picha leilem. Open your mouth to the person who is mute. El din kol bnei chalof, and make sure you represent even the orphans and those who have no one else. Ptach picha shvot tzedek. Open your mouth and judge justice. V'din ani ve'avion. And make sure you advocate for the poor person. The next section, I strongly recommend listening to. There's a lot of songs about this. It's called the section of Eshet Chayil. If you look it up on YouTube, you'll find beautiful songs. So let me, I'll type it in. Is there a way to type it in the chat? I don't know. Yes. Thank you. I love the feedback. I love the comments. Thank you. But now we are going to see this section, which is, by the way, these are the last words of Mishlei. This is the end. We're probably going to finish the book tomorrow. I don't know what we'll do after that, but yeah, we're about to finish the entire book. And this is the section of Eshet Chayil. So he speaks about what is the ideal, he speaks about what is the ideal wife. And it's his mother that says what the, yes, indeed, we have a special guest here. What is the ideal wife? So King Solomon says, and again, I urge you to look up. There's beautiful songs about this. This is many Jewish homes have this framed and put on the wall. This chapter, and it says, "A woman of valor who will find the rachok mipnei micha." If you find a good wife, that is more precious than any pearl in the world. If a person finds the right wife, then they can. I'm good. I will share. Yes, I will share songs of Eshet Chayil. Absolutely beautiful. And it is actually, interestingly, it's sung every Friday night. Every Friday night, it is sung in Jewish homes around the Shabbat table before you begin, as a way of showing appreciation, often to the woman of the house who often has prepared and done so much. So you sing Eshet Chayil. And it's written alphabetically. And again, it's written by King Solomon in honor of his mother, who, you see what a beautiful relationship they have. She just reprimanded him in very strong terms because he married 1,000 wives. And now he says, well, who is the ideal woman? Someone like my mother who can be trusted. And I will share online a version of Eshet Chayil. But God willing, tomorrow, I believe, is going to be the last day of the book of Proverbs. And I thank everyone who's been with us. You've been amazing, and I really appreciate it. I would not be able to do this without you. And I will be posting Eshet Chayil. So thank you for joining us. And I hope you listen to the song before we learn tomorrow the final section of Mishlei, Proverbs, Eshet Chayil. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining. Thank you so much. Chapter 31 in the book.